Good morning, students. This session for class 12th physics, and we are studying chapter 4. Students, today's topic is cyclotron. In previous classes, we have completed the motion of charged particle in uniform external magnetic field, and then we completed the motion of charged particle in electromagnetic field, and then we have discussed the condition for velocity selector, okay, and then basic principle of mass spectrometer, okay. I hope you remember in last class we have completed this condition of mass spectrometer, you can see here, okay. So today we are going to study about the cyclotron. So what is cyclotron, students? So yesterday we have discussed some basic uh, about cyclotron. This means cyclotron is a machine to accelerate charged particles or ions to very high energy. You can see here, very high energy means very high kinetic energy. It means due to this machine a charged particle can get very high velocity in magnitude. So let us discuss about the history. The cyclotron is machine to accelerate charged particles or ions to high energies. It was invented by E.O. Lawrence and M.S. Livingston in 1934 to investigate nuclear structure. You can see here the purpose of invention of this machine to the investigation of nuclear structure, okay. The cyclotron uses both electric and magnetic field in combination to increase the energy of charged particles. As the fields are perpendicular to each other, they are called crossed field. So these are some basic points about cyclotron, okay. Cyclotron used the fact that the frequency of revolution of the charged particle in magnetic field is independent of its energy. So this is very interesting point about the cyclotron, that is it uses the fact that the frequency of revolution, it means the frequency by which the charged particle is moving inside the cyclotron, that is known as the frequency of revolution of the charged particle in the magnetic field is independent of its energy, that is independent upon its energy. So this is something about cyclotron, okay. So let me repeat these things and it will be easy to note down. Student, take your copy, take your notebook and pen and try to note down the important things about these topics, okay. So the most important point is cyclotron is a machine to accelerate the charged particle or ions to very high energies. Very high energy means kinetic energy, it means to very high velocity. And it was invented by E.O. Lawrence and M.S. Livingston in 1934 to investigate nuclear structure, okay. So the aim of the invention of this machine was investigation of nuclear structure. And the cyclotron uses both. So you know that in cyclotron we are using both electric and magnetic field perpendicular to each other, so these are called crossed field. Crossed field means two fields are perpendicular to each other. And the most important point about cyclotron is cyclotron uses the fact that the frequency of revolution of the charged particle in magnetic field is independent of its energy. So you can see here the frequency of charged particle in magnetic field is independent of its energy. It means if energy is very high or low, the frequency of the charged particle does not depend upon this. Now we are going to understand this figure by which we are going to, or we try to understand the structure of a cyclotron. So in this picture you can see this one is the picture, and by this picture we are try to understand the structure of the cyclotron. So in this picture you can see here, you can see these two semicircle, you can see here, these two are known as D's. This one is 1 and this one is 2, because their structure are like D. So you can see here D1 and D2. Okay, these are D's, known as D's. Okay, now you can see the magnetic field. This one is this dot product, this dot represents magnetic field perpendicular to the plane of paper. Okay, now you can see this is the oscillator. So what is oscillator? Student, oscillator is a device which is used to produce electric field of required frequency. ओके, तो ये जो ऑसिलेटर, इसका यूज है यहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड जनरेट करने के लिए, और वो भी वेरिएबल इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड। मतलब ये कभी इस डायरेक्शन में, यहाँ पे ये जो इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड है ये अपनी डायरेक्शंस चेंज करता रहता है। ओके, टाइम के साथ। अभी जब इसकी वर्किंग पढ़ेंगे तो हम देखेंगे कि क्यों इसका डायरेक्शन चेंज करना कंपलसरी है। ठीक है, और जैसे एसी में आप कोई पोटेंशियल का ये डायरेक्शन कॉन्टिन्यूसली अल्टरनेटिंगली चेंज होता है, ऐसे ये ऑसिलेटर एक डिवाइस है जो इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड जनरेट करेगा और जिससे कॉन्टिन्यूसली उसकी पोलैरिटी चेंज होती रहेगी। मतलब कभी ये वाली डीज पॉजिटिवली चार्ज, कुछ देर बाद ये नेगेटिव चार्ज हो जाएगी। ओके, तो यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं ये दोनों एक दूसरे के साथ कनेक्टेड है, तो इस कनेक्शन के थ्रू इनकी पोलैरिटी हम एक रेगुलर इंटरवल टाइम में चेंज कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे देखिए ये जो पॉइंट है, ये पॉइंट पी, ये सोर्स है, यहीं से चार्ज पार्टिकल हमारा निकलता है। ठीक है, और ये चार्ज पार्टिकल जैसे ही सोर्स से बाहर निकलता है ये एक परपेंडिकुलर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड में एंटर कर जाता है। ठीक है, और जैसे ये परपेंडिकुलर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड में एंटर करेगा, आपको पता है इस पर मैग्नेटिक फोर्स लगेगा, जिसका मैग्नीट्यूड होगा, आप लिख सकते हैं खुद से, मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ मैग्नेटिक फोर्स ऑन चार्ज पार्टिकल इन परपेंडिकुलर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इज Q, then velocity and then magnitude of the magnetic field, so that is QVB, you can write this. ओके, सो इतना फोर्स इस पर लगना स्टार्ट हो जाएगा, बट क्योंकि इस फोर्स की डायरेक्शन जो है वो इस वेलोसिटी और इस मैग्नेटिक फील्ड की डायरेक्शन के परपेंडिकुलर है, इसलिए ये पार्टिकल एक सर्कुलर पाथ पे चलना शुरू कर देता है। जैसे ही सर्कुलर पाथ पे चलना शुरू कर देता है, क्योंकि इसकी एनर्जी इंक्रीज होना स्टार्ट हो जाती है, ये अपने पाथ का रेडियस कॉन्टिन्यूसली इंक्रीज करना स्टार्ट कर देता है। ठीक है, तो जैसे जैसे इसकी एनर्जी इंक्रीज होती चली जाती है, इसके रेडियस का पाथ भी, सॉरी इसका रेडियस, इसके पाथ का रेडियस भी इंक्रीज होने लगता है। और यहाँ पे आप देख रहे हैं द सर्कल्स इज कॉन्टिन्यूसली गेटिंग ग्रेटर रेडियस। ओके, फाइनली जब इसकी एनर्जी बहुत हाई हो जाती है, यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं ये इस एग्जिट पोल से बाहर निकलता है, और हमारा अगर यहाँ पे टारगेट है, ये सपोज टारगेट है, इस टारगेट को ये हिट करता है विथ रिक्वायर्ड वेलोसिटी। जितनी वेलोसिटी से इसको यहाँ पे हिट कराना है, रिक्वायर्ड है, उतनी वेलोसिटी इसको इसके अंदर ही प्रोवाइड कराई जाती है। तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं ये एक परपेंडिकुलर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है जो प्लेन ऑफ पेपर के परपेंडिकुलर है। ये डिफ्लेक्शन प्लेट है जो इस चार्ज पार्टिकल को इधर उधर नहीं जाने देती, और यहाँ पे इसको डिफ्लेक्ट करके स्ट्रेट लाइन में, अगर ये उधर जाना चाहे तो भी ये इसे इस डायरेक्शन में ला के यहाँ पे ये टारगेट है, टारगेट से हिट कराती है। टारगेट से हिट करने के बाद जो रिजल्टेंट जो चीज़ें मिलती हैं उनकी हेल्प से हम जो भी टारगेट होगा इसके स्ट्रक्चर के बारे में जान पाएंगे। तो ये है इस मशीन का डिज़ाइन, और इसमें जो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड अप्लाई किया गया है। ऑसिलेटर का रोल है एक वेरिएबल इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड जनरेट करना। ठीक है, और जो इस जैसे ही चार्ज पार्टिकल सोर्स से जनरेट होता है इसके ऊपर फोर्स लगता है QVB। ठीक है, इसमें दो डी शेप के यहाँ पे लगे हुए हैं हॉलो सेमी सर्कुलर्स हैं ये मेटल के, इनको डीज बोलते हैं क्योंकि ये दो हैं तो डीज। ठीक है, सो आई होप कि आपको ये समझ में आ रहा है। यहाँ पे एग्जिट पोल है, एग्जिट पोल के ठीक बाहर एक टारगेट लगा होता है, टारगेट उसी मटेरियल का होता है जिसकी हमें स्टडी करनी होती है। तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं a schematic sketch of cyclotron. There is a source of charged particle or ion at P which move in a circular fashion in D's D1 and D2 on account of a uniform perpendicular magnetic field B. An alternating voltage source accelerates these ions to high speeds. Yeah, the ions are eventually एक्सट्रैक्टेड एट द एग्जिट पॉइंट। तो यहाँ पे एग्जिट पॉइंट है आपका। ठीक है, तो चलिए अब इसको देख लेते हैं क्या क्या इसके बारे में यहाँ पे लिखा गया है, इसकी स्ट्रक्चर के बारे में यहाँ पे डिटेल में लिखा गया है, इसको एक बार पढ़ लेते हैं हम। तो यहाँ पे देखिए लिखा हुआ है द पार्टिकल्स मूव मोस्ट ऑफ टाइम इनसाइड टू सेमी सर्कुलर डिस्क लाइक मेटल कंटेनर्स D1 and D2 which are called D's as they look like the letter D. Okay, now figure 4.8 shows the schematic view of the cyclotron. Inside the metal boxes the particle is shielded and not acted on by electric field. The magnetic field however acts on the particles and makes it go round in a circular path inside a D. Every time this particle moves from one D to another, it is acted upon by electric field. The sign of the electric field is changed alternatingly, or you can say the change alternately in tune with the circular motion of the particle. This ensures that the particle is always accelerated by electric field. Now each time the acceleration increases the energy of the particle as energy increases, the radius of the circular path increases. So the path is spiral one. Now in whole assembly is evacuated to minimize the collision between the ions and the air molecules. As high frequency alternating voltage is applied to the D's, in the sketch shown in figure 4.8, positive ions or positively charged particle, example protons, are released at center P and they move in semicircular path in one of the D's and arrive in the gap between the D's in time interval T by 2, where T is the period of revolution is given by the, so this one is the time period of revolution. Okay, but let me explain the things. Suppose you can see here this one is the oscillator. Oscillator means the device which produces variable electric field to these two D's. Okay, so let me tell you in first case, suppose this D is positive, this D is negative for some interval of time. Let us imagine, so this particle P which is emitted from the source P is ready to move towards D2 because this one is negative and we are taking P as positive charge. So this P is attracting towards D2. Now it is moving towards D2 in a circular path because magnetic field is perpendicular to the motion of this particle P. Now at this point, at this exit point, the time is managed such that this d becomes negatively charged and this one is become positive charge due to this oscillator, and then it will attracted towards this d, okay, towards this d, but the path will be circular because the magnetic field is perpendicular. So in this gap, when it is attracted, it will be this charge particle at this point is pulled by d1, so it will accelerated at this point in this gap. In this gap, because in this gap the charge particle from this point, it is pulled by d1, so it is accelerated. Then in this part it will move on the circular track because magnetic field is perpendicular to the velocity. When it reach at this point, this oscillator is arranged such that this d becomes negatively charged and this one becomes positive. Now in this gap again it will, this charge at this point will pulled by d2. Now it will be moving on circular track because it is in perpendicular magnetic field. Now in the same interval of time it will be reach at this point, okay, at this point, and again this d becomes negative and this one become positive. So it will be managed by this oscillator. These d's, the polarity of these d's changes, and this change is managed by using this oscillator, because with increase in velocity the charged particle also increase the radius of the circular path, so it will reach at these points after a regular interval of times. So there is no problem to manage the polarity or change in polarity of these two d's, and in between this gap, it will be accelerated by the potential difference between these two d's, because there is difference in electric field, it means there is potential difference between these two d's, and in this potential difference this charge gets kinetic energy, okay. So in one complete revolution it will be accelerated 2 times. You can see here, if it complete one revolution it cross the gap twice, okay. So this is written here, you can see here in this part. In the sketch shown figure 4.8, the positive ion or positively charged particles, say proton, are released at center P and they move in a semicircular path in one of the d's and arrive in the gap between the d's in time interval t by 2. So after every time interval t by 2 it will be at the gap, okay, where t is the time period of revolution and is given by, so the formula for time period of revolution is given by this, because this formula is derived yesterday in the last session where we have completed the time period of charged particle moving in uniform magnetic field and perpendicular to the field. So the frequency in this case you can write qb upon 2 pi m, and this frequency is called cyclotron frequency for obvious reasons, and it is denoted by nu c. So because this is frequency of the charged particle in the cyclotron, that is the machine to accelerate the charged particle, so it is known as cyclotron frequency, okay. So you can find out the cyclotron frequency by this formula. This is very important result, and this is nu c, c for cyclotron. this is q b by 2 pi m. So if you know the charge, this q is charge on the charge particle, this b is the magnetic field applied, then m is the mass of the charge particle, and 2 pi is a constant term. So by using this you can find out these values. Now the frequency nu a of the applied voltage is adjusted so that the polarity of the D's is reversed in the same time that it takes the ion to complete one half of the revolution. We discussed this, okay, we have already discussed this part. So the requirement is this is the requirement is called the resonance condition. This requirement is called resonance condition, okay. So this requirement means the frequency of this oscillator, because this oscillator is producing variable electric field, and this variable electric field must have some frequency. That frequency is denoted by nu a, and this is the frequency of the charge particle inside this magnetic field. So these two must be equal, then only it will be accelerated at regular interval of time between the gap of two D's. So the requirement that is known as nu a is equal to nu c, that is frequency of the oscillator is equal to the frequency of the charge particle inside D, is called the resonance condition. So in this case this frequency can be calculated by the same formula which is given by equation number 4.8, okay. And the phase of the supply is adjusted so that when the positive ions arrive at edge T1 D2 at a lower potential and the ion are accelerated across the gap. Now inside D's the particle travel in region free of electric field and the increase in their kinetic energy QV. Now this line is very important. Inside the D's the particle travel in a region of free electric field, because these D's are made by metals and electric field does not exist inside the metal or in gap in the metal. So there is no electric field in these D's, but electric field is present only this gap, and the charge particle is accelerated only this range, only in this gap, okay. So if potential difference between these gap is V, then by crossing this gap the charge particle gain energy Q into V, and you know in one complete revolution it will cross this gap twice. It means in one complete revolution it will get energy 2QV, okay. So you can see here inside the D's the particle travel in a region free of electric field, okay. The increase in their kinetic energy is QV each time they cross from one D to another. We refer to the voltage across the D's at that time. From equation 4.5 we are going to discuss. It is clear that the radius of their path goes on increasing each time their kinetic energy increases. You can see here as the kinetic energy increases the radius of path is increases. So it is written here, the ions are repeatedly accelerated across the D's until they have the required energy to have a radius approximately that of the D's. So the finally the maximum radius acquired by this charge particle will may be equal to the radius of these D's, okay. They are then deflected by magnetic field and leave the system. We are talking about this part via an exit slit. Slit means a small hole by which this charge particle can go outside, okay. So from equation 4.5 you can see here V is equal to QBR by M. Okay, you can write this equation like this, or you can write, since we know that R is equal to MV by QB. This equation is derived when we completed the motion of charged particle in uniform magnetic field. Since this is the radius of the circular path of the charged particle, this is equal to the radius of the D's, or approximately equal. So for V, you can write V is equal to QB into capital R, radius of D, upon M, mass of the charged particle. So this is the velocity by which it exit from this cyclotron machine and hit to a given target. So you can see here where R is the radius of the trajectory at exit, and this is equal to the radius of D. You can see here equal to the radius of the D. Hence the kinetic energy of the ions is, so kinetic energy of ions are 1 by 2 mv square. This is the formula for kinetic energy. And now you can replace this V by this quantity QBR upon M, because these are known for these systems. So charged particle is known, magnetic field applied is known, radius of D is known, and mass of the charged particle is known. So replace this V by this QBR by M. So you can write 1 by 2m Q square B square into R square. So by this formula you can find out the kinetic energy of the charged particle, which is exit from the exit point from this cyclotron machine. Okay, and this is represented by equation 4.10. So you can see here the operation of the cyclotron is based on the fact that the time for one revolution of ion is independent of its speed and radius of its orbit. So this is the basic principle. You can say what is the basic principle of the cyclotron machine. So you can write the operation of the cyclotron is based on the fact that the time for one revolution of an ion is independent on its speed and radius. Speed and radius, the time of revolution does not depends on its speed and radius. And the cyclotron is used to bombard the nuclei with energetic particles so accelerated by it. Okay, so it is used for bombardment of the particle on a given target to study their structure and other properties. So you can see here the resulting nuclear reactions. It is also used to implant ions into solids and modify their properties, or even synthesize new materials. So it is used in hospital to produce radioactive substances which can be used in diagnosis of treatment. So these are uses of cyclotron. Okay, these are uses of cyclotron. I hope you understand the uses of the cyclotron. Okay, so students, I hope you understand the concept of cyclotron, and this is very important topic. Okay, cyclotron is very important topic, and you have different equations, so must remember the equation. Try to derive these equations by yourself. Student, try to solve questions based on this topic. At least solve 10 questions, because by solving the questions you will get the deep knowledge of the topic, and you will be able to solve the difficult problems also, and keep practicing. Okay, the most important equations are equation 4.9 and equation 4. You can see here this equation, that is 4.8, and also what is resonance condition of a cyclotron. So you can see when frequency of the applied oscillator and frequency of the charged particle is equal, then that is known as the resonance condition of the cyclotron. Okay, So must remember these things because these can be as a question in your examination. Okay, so keep doing hard work. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you for watching.